Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Clown blog. You can reach me at Erica S. Williams on Twitter. You can reach me at www.classyscl.com. Today I'm talking about backward blueprint, getting to $100,000 and beyond. So usually a lot of people haphazardly get up and go to work and they go, man, I don't make enough money. I need to start cutting expenses. I need to cut expenses. Listen, you can't frugal your way to wealth. At the end of the day, you need to make more money. I've got friends who have been working for the past 10 years, 6-7 years after college, in dead-end jobs. And now they're not dead end because they pay low. They're dead end because they haven't figured out a plan to get their income up and move out of their parents' house or move out of having roommates in your mid-30s, in your early 30s. That's the worst, living the way you don't want to live because you haven't figured it out. So what we have to do is you have to sit down and you have to backwards blueprint. Take wherever you are. If you're making $25,000 a year, you're making $50,000 a year, you're making $75,000 a year, we have to see where you're deficient and can grow and close in the gap on that income. And there was a time where I was temping, and when I added it all up, I made $26,000 from temp work, from pretty much full 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month, temping, made $26,000 a year. It sucked. That was not enough money for the big city I lived in. But at the same time, I was making anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 additionally with Papa John's. And so people would go, why are you doing that? That's a stupid job. That doesn't make any sense. Yada, yada, yada. And instead of listening to them, I should have been like, look, I'm making close to $45,000 a year here. By consistent effort. Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, it's a lot of hours I'm putting in every week. But guess what? While you're bullcrapping, this $44,000 this year is gonna change my life. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I ever did was let go of that second job for a promotion with a company. And I just tell everybody I know, keep a second job if you're in a low-paying job because you need something to fall back on. Now I've segue to a point in life where I can go, listen, you may not want to work at the second job. You may have children. You may have just got recently married. There may be circumstances where you cannot work that second job. I understand that. If you're a teacher in the summer, man, that's all you should be doing is driving for Uber. I'm sorry. You should be driving day and night for Uber and see if you can make about 12, 15 grand in the summer. Bring your income up. And people are like, that's crazy, Erica. You can't make 12, 15 grand for Uber. I'm telling you, if you're driving as much as you think you would be driving in the summer for Uber, you probably could easily make that money, depending on your city, depending on circumstances, depending on your car. But it's better than working at Old Navy or some clothing store making $10 an hour and feeling frustrated and your students come in the summer see you working there folding clothes. That's ridiculous. Or another opportunity. If you had your real estate license, but you love being a teacher in the summer, if you're near a college town, that's when all the parents are moving in. That's when all the kids are moving in and moving out. And that's when would be the best time to be an apartment locator and make the most money from apartment locating. I have a friend in San Marcos, Texas, and that is exactly what he's doing. He's a college student. He's only 20 years old. He got his real estate license, and every summer, he makes close to $80,000 a year. Now, why he doesn't go full-time? Because he really, really wants to finish his degree. He feels it's important. He needs it. He wants it. And I think if he does this again another year, he'll realize his business degree is not as good as that $80,000 a year he makes in a short 3 months in the summer with real estate. Another thing is sell inventory. People, if you look around your house or if you live near a college campus, when students leave for the winter, they are just tossing crap out left and right. That is when I deliver pizzas in Georgetown near a very expensive upper crust college, the first thing I would do is look around and be like, man, there's whole desks, tables, chairs, clothes, shoes, sunglasses, you name it. It was out there by the trash can. And sure enough, there were other kids, maybe poorer kids, I don't know their circumstances, picking through that trash and getting items out of it. That's a very easy way to get free stuff to turn around and sell on Craigslist, eBay, Amazon, your own personal website, you name it. It's a great way to do that and bring your income up via free inventory. Now, another way to get some inventory to sell online, even if it's in your part-time or your spare time, would be to go on Alibaba or go on AliExpress and get some items that you know about or something you can promote and tell people about and sell. Another way would be direct selling, whether it's Jamberry, some kind of direct selling company. You just need to figure out how much sales do you need to bring your income up. So you just have to start where we're at. And so I take the time to get out a piece of paper and write down what is it I need to do to backwards plant myself to $100,000 a year. And for me, as a real estate agent, I can either work with 100 clients, getting $1,000 plus apartments, which is easy to do in the summer, and get to that $100,000 through commissions, or I could work with 12 people buying a $300,000 house. Preferably work with more than 12 people, maybe 15 people. The goal would be to sell a house a month every month, or selling 4 or 5 in the summer. And then that eases the pressure on the rest of the months. But you can easily do that by backwards blueprinting. By backwards blueprinting, I would see for myself, I would need to have one seller appointment, one buyer appointment weekly throughout the whole year. Now, if I did that throughout the whole year, and if just half of those transactions went through and I was able to get a contract, and then just half of those transactions were able to make it through, I'd probably make it close to $180,000 a year. Now, I'm going to make sure I write that down below so you guys can see some numbers and it makes a little bit more sense, the numbers I'm quoting on making that much. The average house out here is $302,000. So your average commission is $9,000. So, you get about $9,000 into that. You're going to sell about 20 houses. If you sell about 20 houses after all that math, because at the end of that period, you would have had 104 meetings with sellers and buyers by the end of that year. If you just kept a simple one seller appointment a week, one buyer's appointment a week, by the end of the year, 52 weeks a year, even if you just take any weeks off, you'd have 104 meetings. So just imagine if 1/4 of those were successful. That's very easy to get to 25 listings and buyers, listings and sellings. Another way, for me personally, public speaking. I realized that I want to speak over 100 times this year. And I needed to do the math. How many times do I need to speak publicly to reach my goal of public speaking 100 times this year? Now, public speaking payouts can range anywhere from $250, anywhere from free, $250 to $5,000. Now, I'm no way in denial about making $100,000 just from public speaking. I know that it takes time and build up, but as I wasted some of the beginning of the year, now the pressure's on for me in order to do 100 speeches this year, I will have to speak 3 times a week publicly for the rest of the year. So that's a lot of colleges, that's a lot of auditoriums, that's a lot of events. And I may not always make the 3 a week. I may have to do that later in the year and do some extra speaking later in the year to grow that aspect. Also, with that public speaking, I'll be there and I'll be able to sell books or products or people going to my website or consulting. There's all kinds of options there. So again, already I'm looking at my week. I'm having 1 seller's appointment, 1 buyer's appointment, and I always recommend to people 1 open house a week. Preferably if you're just getting started, I'd have an open house every day for a month, honestly. But from just backwards blueprinting, just that part, I'm going to have 1 seller's appointment a week, 1 buyer's appointment a week, 1 open house a week, and I'm going to speak somewhere publicly 3 times. I might get lucky and let's say I'm in Dallas and I speak at SMU. Later that day I speak at TCU, and another later part of the day I speak at another Dallas area college or event. So that would knock out all my 3 in one day. There's different ways to do that. Uber is something that interests me because it's like you're meeting all types of people. And I'm not saying you have to drive at 2:00 in the morning with the drunk partiers and someone throwing up in your car, but there's CEOs of Austin, which I'll put the link below. The CEO who created a startup here in Austin, he only drives 3 days a week, 3 to 5 hours a week, 3 to 5 hours in that one day, each of those days. So he does that. So about 15 hours every week. And he's been making $800. Now, things to take into consideration when you're driving for Ubers. What neighborhood was he driving in? Is he doing airport runs? what are the different things he's doing. But $800 a week is nothing to laugh at, and 800, and that's just him doing 15 hours. Imagine if you were like some of the people that made $96,000 a year with Uber. That means you're pretty much driving, 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week. But if you were a person who had no job, you got laid off, I would tell you, go get in your car after they've approved you and drive your butt off, because that's a great way, if nothing else, that first couple of months to get some really great cushion to put towards you having time to look for other opportunities, stuff that would be better for you, or getting inventory and turn around and selling it, being able to sell a certain amount of inventory at the end of the year. So the most important thing I can say is we have to map it out. We have to say, what is it that I will be doing weekly, monthly, and yearly? If we want to get to that $100,000, we just can't say, I'm going to make $1 million this year and I'm going to do this or that. You can't be abstract. It's great to have that dream of being a millionaire, but you got to put it on paper and show me what is it you need to do daily. Just like exercise and working out, eating. When you have a blueprint to say, I'm going to work out 3 times a week, this particular time in the day, I'm going to have a personal trainer, or I'm going to use fixed foods to come to my house and feed me a certain type of food so that I can get to this weight loss plan and stick on it, it's great. Now, anytime in this year, you can alternate that blueprint. You can ask for a raise from work. You can go seek a higher paying job. I mean, there's many ways to get to that $100,000 mark. I mean, 72% of all Americans, working Americans, and this is via Social Security administrative stats, make under $50,000 a year. So what is it those other people are doing in that, I would say, 28% range? Like, what are their incomes there? It doesn't take much for me to go, hey, if you move into a duplex and then you move into a duplex again next year, you've already taken out a good like $2,000 or $2,000 a month putting in your pocket. That comes to $24,000 a year in income. And now, if you had a $50,000 job and the duplexes and a little side gig with Uber, you're at $100,000. Now that I will also write out, because that could be perfect for someone. Or if you moved 4 or 5 times, which is not common, which is very common for people, 4 or 5 times in a 5-year period, each moving from one duplex you purchased to another duplex you purchased to another, within 5-year mark, the income you would be making off your duplexes would by far get you at least to the $50,000 range. Now, maybe a little less due to expenses and different things, depending on your area, where you live, where your duplexes are. But I'm giving averages and kind of giving a range there. But that could be something that could work for you. Real estate could get you there. I know some teachers who have, when we were in college, they bought a cheap house in college. Then they moved to Raleigh, kept that cheap house at College Town, kept renting it out. Then rented a house had the house in Raleigh, moved again for another teaching job all the way to Charlotte. And it was so far away, they kept renting out not only the house, but the student house and the one in Raleigh. So by the time they got to Charlotte, they already had income coming in as a teacher. It was okay to take a teaching job in another city because you had income. You had income working for you. And so people have to really seriously take the time out to map it. And I know sometimes in life we get so tired and work bogs us down that we can't sit down and backwards blueprint. Because really what we're trying to get to, our $100,000, is why do we need that $100,000? Why do we need that $50,000? Why do we need that $75,000? Is it just because life is expensive? Or what is your why? Is it getting more time with your children? Is it getting more time with your spouse? What is your why? Is it growing your business? What is your why? So I want you to take out a sheet of paper and I want you to write down, be honest with yourself, your income. Where is it coming in? How much is coming in a month? And how you can double that, or at least get up to $75,000 to $100,000 a year. I want you to be able to take this money and invest in your future. So I'll do more videos on this. I love the topic. I'll try to be very clear in the below, adding the links. But again, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog, talking about backwards blueprint, getting to $100,000 and beyond. You guys have an awesome day. Make sure you got your sheet of paper. Make sure you get that information down for yourself, and subscribe to the channel. There'll be more good stuff. You guys have an awesome day.